Hello, and welcome to the Harrington Quality Management Software Project Management Overview. Project management is an interesting subject. It shouldn't be that complicated, but sometimes it does. And what we've heard a lot from our customers and the people we talk to is people try to use the project management software to solve problems with people issues, which it's not going to help with, and even process issues where it's not organized correctly or managed correctly. The lesson learned is keep it simple. And what we've seen is real complicated tools in this space just frustrate the users. With that intro, the phones are muted. We've got a good group joining us today. A lot of activity outside the United States, which we're very happy to see. Today's discussion, we're just going to go through the problems that we've heard with project management, how the HQMS solution can help solve that problem. Excuse me. We do have with us today Rodney, one of our subject matter experts, to do a demo of the software, and then we'll talk about the return on investment. The list of problems with project management can be really long. We tried to just do it with short list we've got, but again, poor projects cost businesses a considerable amount of time, money, and effort, and a lack of leadership to get the project from conception through development is also a driving factor in whether it works or doesn't work. Poor communication, is used a lot, but I mean, that is the essence of it. I don't know who's on the team, what we're doing. We don't have clear goals or objectives. A lot of other frustration in some cases is unworkable deadlines. What's interesting about that is when we dug into that, what we found out is in some of the project management tools, you're forced when you enter a task to put in an end date. And a lot of people go, I don't know what the end date is. I don't even know what the start date is. They're almost kind of looking for a task management tool on top of it. But, it's easy for projects to fail without a dedicated tool in place like the HQMS tool, which is what we want to show you today. So, if you just look at the process flow, we're going to create a project, get some team members together, schedule the activity, whether it's just task assignments or meetings. Keep track of all those tasks or action items and make sure the results are uploaded, and we've got artifacts and documents and material to support it. The integration within HQMS, and I know we're just focusing on project management today, but there's a lot of different modules that support projects, document management and training activities and whatnot that can all be referenced to it. Rodney will probably chat about that a little bit. And then, of course, we want robust reporting, charting, and analysis. The project reports is just a quick subset of the records. There's pre-existing reports. There's filters you can create to modify it yourself. And the same thing with charting. The ability to get some charts on your specific statistics, your specific criteria that you've asked for. So tailor it to your needs. So in general, the project management tool basically has all the things in it that your IT group, whether it's on-premise or hosted, are going to want to look at. Robust security from a user standpoint, the ability to configure, not customize, configure forms and labels and tables and screens, emailing from the system, exporting information out. Again, task management and putting this all together. And what we're trying to do is, again, bridge that gap between the stakeholders and the parties to make sure they can all see what's going on. And yeah, we want to be able to get leadership and designate leaders who's going to handle it, assign responsibility, issues the task, and probably the most important is maintain the accountability. If we know what the milestones are, let's go ahead and start, set them and track them and see how we're doing. And the net result of any project management effort is we'd like to finish ahead of schedule and under budget. So with that brief intro, I'm going to hand it over to Rodney, who's going to show us the tool.
Great, thanks, John. Let me get my sharing going here. Okay. John, made some references to email communication. So what I'm going to demonstrate on how to kick off this little demo is HQMS sent me an email because I was assigned to a project record. So basically, anytime you're assigned to something, you might receive an email. And so I can simply click on the link in that email, which takes me to the login page. And then when I log in, it'll take me right to that particular record. So in this example, I already added some information to this project before I accepted it, so I could save some time for this presentation. So I'm not going to go into all, touching on adding everything here. In some HQMS modules, you can update all the information by clicking on Edit, selecting or typing information into the appropriate fields, and then you click on Save. The difference with the project module is in our project milestones section. So I'm going to actually get to that section here. And so in here, this is where I can add the goals for the project, and I've already added a few. We have this current status section. That's just an example where I can click in there and type my information into here. Great. So if I click on this first milestone, what I want to show that's a little bit unique in this module, we have this pop-up where you can enter information and update the milestone information. And you can also use this navigation bar in the top right to view the other milestones. We have this associated area, and so I'm going to demonstrate that, how I can look at these example tasks here in a few moments. Great, so that's just our basic example of how we can update a project record, which is very similar to how we update other records in HQMS, so you don't need to relearn the system every time. So another area I want to talk about is attachments. John had made some references to that. So users can upload any type of file. The only limit might be the maximum size of the file, but somebody can adjust that. As an example here, I'm just going to upload a spreadsheet file. And of course, if I click on that, this is just a little sample here. If you have some carryover from Excel where, you put information into an Excel spreadsheet for your goals and stuff, that's just a little sample there. We can also upload images or, as I mentioned, other types of files here. So this project was dealing with a new ERP system. Just as a sample, I put in a image here, but again, it could be any type of file. And so the next area I'm going to talk about is creating or linking to associated records. And this references area is one place where I can link to other HQMS records. But what I want to do is go to this tasks area because I had these tasks that were associated with our project milestones. And if I just click on one of these tasks here, so this is an example of just a simple type of record that has a place for the request and a place for the assignee to say how they completed the request. Users can also attach files here and even create follow-up actions to link into some other area like a corrective action or a training from the task. But again, I'm just trying to keep it simple here for right now. So if I'll go back to this project record here, and as an example here, what I'm going to do is link into one of those other type of actions like I mentioned here. And in this case, it's going to be a scheduled training record. We have a training in here, for a new ERP system. And I'm not going through this whole process of adding training record. That's not the point of this particular demonstration, but we do have some past, webinars with the training system. So we go into more detail there. And also we can schedule a demo, if you would like. And so I can basically get back to that project record here. So the next area I want to talk about is searching for records. we could have already had a bunch of projects in the system. And also, I forgot to mention on that previous screen I was on, I could link into our document system. That might be kind of common with a project. Maybe we updated a document after we put some new things in place. But, given the time, I'm not going to go into all the examples that we can here. So I'm going to select a saved query that I have here. Users can easily save filters or queries. I have one that just shows all open projects, so that's just an example there. And if I click on this edit filter button, we can easily search for records based on a number of different criteria. The default query only has a few fields, but I can easily add some more, with just a simple couple of clicks here. And there we go. On the date field here, for example, there's a lot of options there, so we can easily find records from this year, last month, a range, or a specific date. And then in the drop-down fields here, we can select their values here, for example, and I can click on a category and then click on Get Records to display records, of course, that only match that particular category. And I can mix and match with the other operators here. And then another thing I want to show on this page is the layout area, which we can use this area to choose which columns you want to see in this list. So you can pick and choose the fields to make them match the query or to filter with one click. So if I click on the use query fields here, get records. So it takes the columns that were in the layout, adds them on there. And so what I want to demonstrate here is I can export this list to Excel, and which is going to lead me to the next topic about reports, because this is almost like a report here, where this would show the information from the columns that I added. So I can add more columns if I need them, but this was just a quick sample here. So great. So getting into the next area for reports and charts, I just want to run through a few here so I can get back to my assigned project here. So each record has a detail report. Here, I'm going to run the project details extended report in a PDF format. There are other formats that we can display the reports in. The PDF look the best. And so this will show, most of the information from the record here. Once it downloads, I'm doing this live here. So there we go. All right, so there's our, example of a text report that we can run in the system. This is a report for one record. We do have an area where I can run reports that would display multiple records, like Pareto reports, trend reports, also a list report. So this was just a quick sample there. But what I want to show next would be a chart. And so I can go into this charts area here, choose the module, that I'm interested, of course, project, and then the chart. Notice that we have an aging and a trend chart. I'm not going to run those right now. The trend chart will display the number of records per month based on a date field you select, such as date originated or date closed. The aging, of course, displays records by age. So I'm going to run this Pareto chart, and just to be sure, I'm going to actually clear this filter. I talked about the filters. You can apply a filter to a chart, but I'm not going to do that in this case, simply to display all records here. So we have our basic Pareto chart that will group records by responsible, but I can change that. So just, little quick samples here of some stuff that I can do. Hide the grid lines, show the number of records there, and then I'm going to actually change this value here to group by the type of project instead of grouping by the assignee. And so we click refresh, and there we go. And with any report or chart in HQMS, if I use this add to my charts option, I can add that to my home page, and then with just one click, I'll be able to run the chart and it'll show that current data. So great. So I'm going to go ahead and kick this back over to John. And if we have any questions, anything I missed, I can address those things.
Okay, thanks, Rodney. Appreciate that overview. When it comes to return on investment, everybody wants to get a specific numerical ROI for efforts of this nature, and it may or may not be possible. If you need help, and most people do, the only thing I can really advise is talk to your accounting department. They have the data that's needed. And if you're going to do an estimate, if the accounting guy is with you to do the estimate, that's great. But, again, it still comes down to time and money. The software that Rodney's showing you is designed to save you the time to go after the value-added activities. And when you're doing an ROI, if you're able to save, 15 to 30 minutes a day, across how many people are involved, how would that help? And money isn't just labor. It's not just time. It's, failed projects cost a lot. We tried it and it didn't work. I'm sorry, let me back up. It's not that, projects always work or always have to work. But the biggest issue is if you're going to fail quickly. So the idea of letting a project go on, and again, this is usually because of communication and poor communication, where a project should have been killed and it doesn't, and it just keeps going on. But a lot of companies, almost every company now, it's a fast-paced environment. The ability to react to all the supply chain issues and organizational and market changes, being organized with very quick, necessary material is where you're going to get the ROI. We did mention that the project management tool is one of the HQMS enterprise solution. If you want to learn more about it, please visit us at hgint.com or call us at 1-800-ISO-9000 or email at sales@hgint.com. Just a little bit about us. We've been in business for about 30 years with over 45,000 customers globally. Our team is focused on developing cost-effective software that evolves as your business grows. And we are all at HGI fully aware of how we got to help our customers get short-term operational improvements and long-term financial results through a blend of these software products and services. We do have time for some Q&A. This first one's pretty good. The question, Rodney, is, I'm an employee, I log in. I'm on 4 different projects and got 10 or 15 tasks across all of them. Is there an easy way for me to see everything assigned to me?
Sure. I didn't really go into areas on how you find your records, but if you go back and play this video, you might have noticed on the left-hand side we have a panel, and one of those options is responsibilities. And if you expand that out, it'll show you the records that you're assigned to. There's also a tasks panel. So if we had those little tasks assigned, those will show up there. And then there's even an area on that left panel for employees. So that way managers can expand out and they can easily see all the responsibilities of their employees, and those will be grouped by the module. So they'd expand out project, and then boom, there's all the projects, and they can specify what fields to show, such as due date or subject or something like that. And then also, just one more thing, on the home page, there is an important notices area and an overdue area, which will show right there at a glance with buttons, your overdue records and your coming due soon records. So that's it. Thank you.
All right, great. No, that sounds very thorough. And again, that's something, of course, we can go through in detail with you if you want to schedule
one more thing.
Session for your company.
Sorry, there's also a newsletter. Just one more thing. The newsletter would compile all those records too, which you can elect to receive in your email on a daily or weekly basis to make it even more visible. Sorry.
Okay, great. The next one is they were following your conversation where you're talking about milestones, and then we switched to task. And the question, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, is milestones or milestones and task or task? Do you have to use both, or can you use one or the other? How does that work?
Yeah, you could use one or the other. The Milestones is a unique feature in project. I would suggest using that as a minimum. We program that in there to help you get through it. So that way each project, has a similar format, but it's your system. You can do what you wish. You can make tasks or corrective actions or management action records or whatever you wish to use there, or a combination, of course, thereof.
Okay, great. There's one more. You referenced other videos you've done. Are recordings available? And the answer is yes. You can find us on YouTube. Harrington Group International has their own channel. So if you just search on Harrington Group, it'll bring you to all the recordings. That's probably the fastest, easiest way for you to see those. Thank you for attending or listening to this event, and look forward to having a conversation with you about your specific needs. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.